Hey, looks like we're doing something a little different. You can't really see me, but that's not important. Let's talk about dark winds. So why is dark winds so good, yet also very bad? Let's get rid of it and let's go through the good first. First of all, the actors did a phenomenal job. Every single one of them. I was involved with the story, especially the Bilaganas. I'll have to give them credit where credit is due. They did a pretty convincing, mean-looking Bilagana. Good job on them. Thank you for letting me hate you. On top of that, you know, editing was perfect. Oh, that intro, I'm telling you, that intro was amazing. The moon, beautiful. On top of that, I just think it's just nice to have Navajos on TV for like what feels like the very first time. Not technically the first time, that title belongs to something else, but this is like a really big moment for Navajo culture to be shown to a wider public. And I just want you to know that for you non-Dene or Navajo viewers. If you didn't know already, I am Navajo. I speak Dene Yat'e. It's wild how far we've come as an indigenous community and just any other native community too, like reservation dogs. But look, enough about the show. If you want anything more or less, just go watch it. It's a pretty good show. I'd say a 7.5 out of 10 for my book. It was pretty good. I was entertained and I cared about it. I wanted to see the episode every Sunday when it came out on my AMC Plus subscription, okay? I was that invested. But you clicked on the video for the bad, okay? Why is it bad? Well, let's just talk about the Navajo language, okay? That was so bad. You don't understand how bad that was, okay? Look, I'm sorry, I'll put the actress name, but the character Bernadette, I apologize, but your Navajo was atrocious, okay? Your prayers was so bad, it was so cringy, okay? I've like no words for it. It was so bad. I was like screaming in my bed. I was like, oh, that's so I think everyone else feels like that too about this because she was just, let me show you what it was like. Ask anyone, it was basically like that, okay? So that was just awful. Don't ever do that again. And so that was basically how it is. It was just awful. Don't ever let me catch you be doing that again. Now look, it may not be bad in general, but it does have some implication. Like a lot of people are seeing this around in the world for the first time. And if this is their first exposure to Navajo culture, they're gonna think we do that, okay? But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad because a lot of that stuff is sacred to us and we like to keep it. So it's kind of hard for showrunners, especially native writers, to figure out what's, you know, show worthy and what can we show, because you're drawing in between the line of being authentic but also trying to fake it. It's a really tough line to draw, and I have to, you know, like I can't say I would have done a better job. I will tell you I'd probably do a less cringy job. What am I saying? I probably would have done the same. It's just awful. And the language so bad. Their speaking was so, they didn't feel it felt like they were like holding back on pronunciations of like most words actually. Like even the simple word of oat, which means yes, oat, kind of like saying oat, but without the T, like oats, like oatmeal, without the T, it's just oat. But they didn't say oat, you know, like very, very stern, very like outgoing, or oh, you know, kind of like ooh, kind of like oh, you know, stuff like that. It wasn't like that. They were just like, oh. They're doing the mouth movement, but they're not doing it with their throat or their voice, you know? It's just like, oh. It felt like they weren't putting that effort with their throat in the Navajo language. It was just like, instead of yat-eh, how that would sound, it's just yat-eh, yat-eh, hagoshi, hagoshi, hagoshi. I mean, okay, the last episode, like, that one's kind of difficult to say. I'll give him that, but still, it seems a little easier than most words. Oh, so I have to give credit to the Navajo subreddit. Yes, we have a subreddit. I didn't know that either. I haven't created an account, so don't even bother looking for me. But on the Navajo subreddit, they pointed out the mispronunciation of like an insult in a word, and it was so goddamn funny. So in one of the scenes, Bernadette calls one of the characters Chi, like an insult, like Maichoi Chi, which means, well, technically it means coyote penis or coyote dick or something, but penis is probably a better proper terminology. I never thought I'd hear that, and it's so funny. Never read it, like pointed that out, and I was just like, that's a good point. I've never heard that insult. It's not even an insult. Can that even be determined as an insult? It's so new. And as Navajos, the language is very descriptive, so it's such a weird word. It's just funny. if someone were to say that as a real insult, I'd laugh at them because they're an idiot for saying that. It's not it can't even be, I can't even see it as an insult. It's just like the stupidest, like you're an idiot if you say that. That's what I love about the language. It's like, say it right, dumbass. You're supposed to say my choi. See, that's one insult they were trying to say, like you smell of coyote, you stink of a coyote, you know? My choi. You hear that? Like you're almost like coughing, but choi. But they said choi. Like that's how important and very precise our language is in Navajo. We have to produce these words with our throat, our tongue, everything. Look, I understand that the actors aren't to blame here, okay? Like, I get it. I'm not putting this on the actors. I'm putting this on the production team, okay? They did a shit job in preparing because they probably underestimated how difficult this language really is. And it's really showing because the Navajo Times has even brought it up because there's some people who won't watch the show because of how terrible the Navajo is. And I support them in that decision because it's awful, but it's also so goddamn hilarious seeing people mess up our language because it just goes to show how fucking amazing our language is. So I'm like torn in between. Obviously I watched it, but I'm just torn between on that topic and debate. They have some valid arguments, okay? It's just, you know, we're trying to be authentic. We're trying to, you know, if you want to be authentic, well, you gotta put in the effort and time to make it authentic enough rather than making a joke of us. But on the other hand, at the end of the day, the series is off a Tony Hillerman book, which I don't know if you know, Tony Hillerman's some white dude that loves writing about Navajos and folklore in that sense. He knows Navajo, but he's not a Navajo. Do you get what I'm getting at? It's so difficult. Like, imagine in modern day, Disney was given a task to make a live action Pocahontas, okay? Now, think about how difficult that would be, okay? Because we all know the underlying truth and disturbing truth of Pocahontas, okay? But I'm not gonna tell about it. You can go read about it somewhere else. It's easy. We've talked about it for decades. The challenge Disney has to do is bring authentication to that story, but also make it, you know, marketable. And if they were to follow through with it, well, Disney would fail in either both aspects by further damaging the authenticity of native culture and making them less human, or other is to make it a box office failure. So that's why you will never see a live action Pocahontas from here on. So that's where I'm getting at. This show, I love and hate this show so much. Like, okay, first of all, look, it's just one big mess, okay? Still, I recommend watching the show because there's a lot of people, including a lot of friends I have in the show, which is crazy to see them on screen for the first time. But just food for thought, it's kind of difficult to adapt a white man's story of Navajo depiction, okay? So if you're looking for authenticity, you're not gonna find it in this show, but this means, you know, they'll probably improve in season 2. If you didn't know, they got a season 2, hooray, that's great. But man, just pick up your Navajo at least, okay? I want you to do an amazing job. I want this show to be great, so it allows more doors open for even more Navajo productions or just more native productions in general. I just wanna see more. And I think a lot of people too want to as well, okay? I can't, I'll go on it. All right, so, you know, this is a little different. Obviously I'm outside with like some terrible lighting, but look, I just thought about it. At the end of the day, you guys kind of just watch anything Navajos just watch anything. It's the worst quality ever, it doesn't matter. As long as it's got a good story, or just good vibes or like camera shaking moments, they'll watch it. So I feel like I just gotta put less care into my editing and just making less professional decisions and just make whatever we want, okay? So if you want more, please let me know. Put in your comments that you want to see more, okay? What reviews do you want? I just did a Reservation Dogs review, but I mean, I'm not really proud of that because it was just I was in my room and I was trying to be quiet. Yeah, anyways, take care. I'm going it.